What is the deal, beautiful people? My name is Ramon. This is Lifestyles Defined. Let's talk about the HP Spectre X2. This is this is something I'm very happy to see running around or floating around, whatever you want to say. This is one of the things that came out of the initiative of the Surface, the very first Surface, right? Microsoft pushed out Windows 8. It was a touch-heavy UI, and they had this dream of having these laptops and tablets and two-in-ones, detachable screens, all work the same way. And they left it up to the manufacturers, the OEMs, right? They leaned on them heavily, and pretty much the response was no. You know, a lot of this stuff was terrible. It was hideous. The hardware sucked. It was cheap, flimsy, and thus the Surface was born. It was pretty much Microsoft's way of just face palming it and saying, God damn it, man, we're going to do it ourselves. We're going to show you what these things are supposed to look like. And of course, you had the various iterations of the Surface. So Surface 1, 2, 3. The 3 most noticeably, where it's just started to come into its own. I mean by its own, I mean rivaling the eye appeal of something Apple would make. And then the Surface 4 is when it made its mainstay in the industry, right? Everyone knows a Surface 4 now. When you think of Microsoft, you think of a Surface Pro, a Surface Pro 4. And that's interesting because this was one of their very first cracks at hardware, if you excuse the mice and keyboards, or the Xbox even. And they really sat down and they got it right over the iterations. And now it's a conversation. It's definitely in the conversation. People say, you're going to spend $14, $15, you're going to spend $900, $1,000. Check out that Surface. You know, you get this laptop-esque thing with the ability to pull it apart and get a tablet, and it's powerful and it's beautiful, it's stylish. Yes. Now, however many years later, here comes HP with something they should have done a while back. And don't get me wrong, the Spectre's been around, and they had a few that looked okay, but never this premium. This thing looks amazing. I really do adore the way it looks, and I think they did a good job here. And it's sort of like they're following suit, right? Because now Microsoft has showed people this vision on what they think it should look like. Here comes HP. It's got that same big slab screen. You got that detachable keyboard, and then you got that stand on the back. The stand on the back is interesting looking. It's the Surface got this one whole metal piece of magnesium. This guy is this clear cutout, and it's released from a button on the side, which I've seen some people complain about. Others, it's not a big deal. Me personally, it doesn't look like a big deal. The keyboard, definitely from what I've been reading from people who've been able to get their hands on it, is a lot more sturdy than the Surface Pro keyboard, and it's got all the backlit keys function, whatnot, a huge trackpad. The trackpad looks like it might be a little bigger than the type cover on the Surface. But here's the important part, which is why I like to see what HP is doing here, because this is something that annoyed me with not only the Google C, the iPad Pro, but most certainly the Surface. They do not include the keyboard. The keyboard will cost you extra $130. Here, HP's including the keyboard. Good on them. That's what you were supposed to do. Good job. So this thing looks, it looks like a win, right? All the way around, and you can get it fully loaded. I mean, now there is a caveat with this guy, right? Sure, you can't get your 256 SSD, 512, I suppose. It's got the Wi-Fi, the Bluetooth. You can get it up to 8 gigs of RAM. The touchscreen, it's a 12-inch display, 1920 by 1080. So the display is not as high res as the Surface Pro. So the Surface Pro is a 2736 by 1820 or 1824, something like that. So the Surface Pro has the better display, the better resolution, but this guy still looks fine. Where you really take the hit here, and I'm not sure what this is worth because I haven't had my hands on any of these Intel Core processors. These are not i-Core processors, no. The Surface you can get with an i3, i5 or balls to the wall i7. Here you've got sort of the same offering from Intel, but on a more mobile centric processor. So you've got the Intel Core M3, M5, and M7. The M7, of course, is clocked at 1.2 gigahertz. I'm not sure what these guys do in terms of test. You'd have to check out something like CNET. They do a really good job at benchmarking it. But I imagine for something like watching YouTube videos, your word processing, that type of stuff, it's gonna be fine. Even some Photoshop, I think you'll be okay, because this guy does support a stylus. In terms of rendering video and gaming, I'm not exactly sure what this is gonna look like. But you know, you take a hit with the processor, you take a hit with the resolution. This guy starts out at an attractive price. I mean, you can't go wrong for the $800 with the keyboard included. And at this price point, with this attractive a device, I feel like now this detachable genre is really showing its prowess, where you could actually just not buy a laptop, buy something like this and get the best of both worlds, outside of lappability, right? We're not sure how lappable this is, and that's a Microsoft jargon in terms of putting the Surface down in your lap and actually detaching really collapsing the kickstand to make it a better typing experience. That's also one thing I noticed with this guy. It doesn't look like the kickstand is it can get that flexible or as flexible as the Surface 4. But nonetheless, kudos to HP, man. It's about time that somebody else really come up with something nice. I know Lenovo's been out there with the Yoga, but whatever, just copy the hell out of the Surface. It's beautiful, it works. And then here's HP. Let's see if Dell can catch up and really add some more options in the market. Asus, I want to see these guys jump in there and bring the price down on these things. And then we create this ecosystem where you can get these beautiful devices. I mean, this thing's even got banging Olin speakers on it. Maybe it's just a product thing, but it's got speakers all over the place. So it's well designed, it's well thought out, and it's not a Surface. It's not as expensive as a Surface. So maybe we can get somebody like Dell, somebody like Asus to come in and then slice off another piece of that pie, an even cheaper version, and then these things just become the new laptop. That was the vision, right? Anyway, hit the comments below. Let me tell you what hit the comments below. You tell me how you feel about this. Is this something you're rocking with? Is this something you would consider at this price point? Would you still just say screw it all and buy a traditional laptop? Why? I want to know how you guys feel about this stuff. Your boy Ramon, I'm out of here. Peace.